2025 has been a busy year. It's been full of exciting photo projects. I've researched a lot of really cool cameras. Here are some of my favorite film photography pickups this year, some of which have not made it on the channel, and I think you'll find everything in this video super interesting. First thing up isn't anything new, but it's actually a service I had done. I had my most used camera, the Pentax 6x7. This is the one I've had since 2018. I've shot so many amazing photo concepts on this camera. I had it serviced and CLA'd at Walter's Camera here in LA. It was $420, and I took it in because on a shoot, the advance mechanism, the gears somehow stripped or broke, and the mirror got stuck. The curtains were all misaligned. It was just in a sad state. So I took it in, he fixed it up, and I'm glad I did because I realized I'd never had this camera CLA'd before, and that's a pretty valuable lesson to learn. Like, this camera, even though it was working exceptionally for me for years, it was still a liability. At some point, it was going to break. So this definitely extended its lifespan. I'm glad I didn't just buy another camera, because if I bought another camera on eBay, even if it was mint, it's probably still not recently serviced. So get the cameras that are important to you CLA'd. So now this camera is in the best possible shape it could be. I'm sure there's nicer ones out there, but this is mine. Next up, light meters. So I have been a big advocate for using your phone as a light meter for the past 7 years. And I still use my phone as a light meter about 9 times out of 10. When you use a light meter on your phone, you're just using the phone's internal metering system to light meter for a film camera. An iPhone takes incredibly well exposed photos. It has a great metering system and it works really well. In fact, if you go back and watch my contacts video, I use it to meter long exposures at night, and the phone just nails it. But a phone is not always the thing you want to be pulling out at a shoot. So I got myself a Sekonic light meter. This is something I probably should have got ages ago. This is a L308X-U. Incredible naming conventions, I'm not gonna lie. Really, really good work there, Sekonic. This is such a good light meter. It's good for metering for flash, it's good for metering daylight scenes, it's good for metering at night. A perfect all-around light meter to have. Next up, I was sent this little tiny compact light meter by Aster Hori. This thing sits on the hot shoe of your camera and just meters the scene in front of you. I've shot one roll with it so far on top of one of my cameras, but the first thing I did was just compare it to meter readings with my Sekonic and also just my phone light meter, and they all lined up. So this thing is actually really neat. It's USB-C chargeable. This little scroll wheel on the front almost feels like a fidget spinner, but you can just go through and choose if you want to lock onto one aperture or choose a shutter speed. It's a neat little tiny light meter for the top of your camera. Alrighty, we're at my desk and we've got two things here. This is a brand new shutter release cable that they are making today, and this is a vintage one that's in the packaging. Pretty neat. I have been looking for a braided shutter release cable of this length. This is probably like 7-8 inches, like just like small enough that it hangs off of the camera and it's not hitting the ground like some of those obscenely long ones you can find on the internet. The braiding is nice because it's not gonna crack, it's not some weird plastic, and it's got like a lock on it and everything, so you can just have a small, compact, unobtrusive shutter release cable on your camera when you're shooting long exposures, shooting portraits in the studio when you're locked off on a tripod. Something like this, of this size, is just perfect. I'm going to be using this one. I got it at Freestyle. I wish I kept the little box it came in, but I'll link it down below if I find it. Great little cable. And another thing that we have on the desk, this here is the Rollei 35AF by Mint camera. They sent this over to me a couple weeks ago, and I am testing it out and making a whole video about it, but it's a very cute little 35mm point and shoot with a built-in flash. It's got a fully automatic mode, but it also has a set of manual shutter speeds and apertures you can select, and it's compact and meant to look like the original Rollei 35. So look out for this video. I'll share something relatively soon, but I've got to go out and test it a little bit more first. I've been looking for one of these for a while. This is the Polaroid Macro 5 SLR 1200. Now that is a mouthful. I believe this is a dental camera. It has a bunch of different lenses built into it for different focal lengths. The lenses go from like chest up to being able to focus just on someone's eye in like unbelievable detail. It's a Spectra Polaroid though, and Polaroid no longer makes Spectra film. But luckily, there's a Polo Studio adapter for Spectra cameras. So any Spectra camera can take I-type or 600 film. If you've got a Spectra camera laying around, it's probably worth getting one of those adapters because those cameras are excellent. My friend Sissy has been wanting one, so this is getting sent to her. I found a great deal on this. These cameras are so expensive, and I found this one for an amazing deal. So I'm not gonna make a video on it, but maybe Sissy will, so go check her out. Another Patch of Sky by my friend Brian Chorsky. I just picked up this book. It just came out. I went to his book launch event. This is just a wonderful collection of some of his most beautiful photos from his travels that he would do regardless of if he had a camera with him. Definitely check this out, get a copy of it. I'll put a link in my bio and hopefully he's still got some in stock. All right, like another collection of paper here. This is a Life magazine from 1972 when the Polaroid SX70 first released. You've got some really cool photos like showing the development process, unbelievable sketches showing how light travels through the camera and also lands and hits and exposes the film, and also some really cool photos showing the production of the SX70s. This is the concave mirror that's inside of your SX70 that you're looking directly at when you go to shoot a photo. And they also included some photos that were shot by Life photographers. It's just cool to see a professional photographer of this era trying out a brand new camera. And I especially love this photo because it reminds me so much of the photography work I make today. Nothing under the sun is unique, you know what I'm saying? In other news, I have this Life magazine as well, and it's not directly photography related, but this young woman right here on the front is actually my grandmother, Marcia. She lived right next door to the Life photographer. This is the Life photographer's son, and I'm just gonna have to get this framed because that is just such a unreal piece of my family history to actually own. And I've found like 3 or 4 of these magazines at different antique stores, and every single time I buy it. I've got one at my parents' house, this one I have here in LA. What a cool piece of history. All right, so next up, my friend Dino, he just gave me 4 cameras. Nice guy. You wanna see? So they're all really, really cute. First one we'll look at is this Agfa Compact. I love that it's got like digital clock text on the front. Its silhouette reminds me a lot of like a Contax T2 actually. It has a zone focusing system on the lens. It has no flash, and it has a great little viewfinder and a huge red button on it. I've heard a lot of really good things about this 39mm 2.8 lens. I'm just stoked to try it out. I don't know if it'll get its own video, but really cute camera. Next up, we've got another Agfa camera, probably from around the same time. This is the Agfa Optima. This time it has a Film Advance winder on it instead of winding the film automatically for you. But this one has a massive flash on the top of it. It's really beefy. I love how much of like a chunky unit this thing feels like. Look at how big that viewfinder is. It's got that same big red button. Again, a very cute, beautiful camera. I love the build. I'm sure it's actually a pretty good camera as well. Time will tell though. I'm gonna give this a test here soon. Next up, we've got the Rollymatic, another compact Rolly. This thing is also so unique. Look at how this thing opens. You slide it and then you pop the lens forward. The lens also has a zone focusing system. I've heard this lens is pretty damn sharp, so I'm excited to give it a go soon. And lastly, we've got the Contax RTS. This is a camera that I've actually wanted for a while, and my friend Sam in New York let me check his out a couple weeks ago. This camera has Carl Zeiss lenses that are unbelievably sharp, and it's got a really incredible automatic metering system built into the camera. So you kind of like select your aperture and then it chooses the shutter speed for you. You can also do manual shutter speeds if you'd like, but you don't have to. You can let this camera make some decisions for you. I'm probably gonna do a whole video on this camera alone because I've wanted to use this SLR for so long. I feel like this camera fits my photography style better than the Contax G1, but I think that the Contax G1 is something that I would pick up more for everyday shooting, for everyday photography, and this would be used for more conceptual, planned out stuff where I'm looking for really sharp 35mm photos. Very excited to try this guy out. Next up, this here is my grandfather's Leica. I've got a video all about it on my channel. And on the Leica, I have a TT Artisans 28mm 5.6 lens that they sent me. This is really interesting. The whole lens and the lens hood actually brass over time. So you'll see on the actual lens hood that it started to brass and chip. I don't know if I'm a fan of that yet, but the lens is actually really great. Yeah, its lowest aperture is 5.6, but that's fine when you're shooting with a camera like this, especially a camera that doesn't have a rangefinder patch, you're zone focusing, you're probably gonna be closed down a lot of the time. And also when you're outside and you're shooting with a rangefinder style camera like this, you aren't gonna be shooting at 2.8. Like, you just miss focus every time. I'm probably shooting it between f8 and f16 with this camera every single time I use it. But this lens has been wonderful so far. I shot a lot with it in North Carolina when I was home, and it's nice, sharp, and incredibly small, especially when you take the hood off of the camera. On the topic of getting your camera CLA'd, my Fuji GA645's ribbon cable broke about 6 or 7 months ago. I just found a newly produced ribbon cable that you can buy on eBay for about $40, and I'm going to take the ribbon cable and my Fuji to a repair shop near me in LA and see what they can do. This is one of my favorite cameras to shoot with. I'd really love to get this fixed. Last but not least, we have some Polaroid stuff that I'm very excited to talk about with you. Well, I have a whole video on these Polaroid SX70s that I posted 2.5, 3 weeks ago. These cameras are the reason why I haven't been making videos recently. This right here is the Polaroid SX70 sonar. Go watch the whole video on it if you want to really learn a lot. But this is a camera from 1978 that has been service upgraded and overhauled by the instant camera guy in Australia. He put a brand new Bluetooth motherboard in it that is called the SX70R. It gives the camera a ton of new features, including manual shutter speed control, an incredibly accurate digital light meter, and the ability to switch between 600 film and SX70 film, so now it can use any film speed. This particular camera shipped with autofocus in 1978. I loved this thing so much, and it makes such amazing photos that I bought another camera that Jake made. This is a Polaroid Model 2 in ivory. I actually did the black leatherette myself. This camera also works just as well. It just doesn't have autofocus. Manually focusing with these cameras is so easy, and it's a joy to look through one of these cameras because it's an SLR. There are no modern day Polaroid cameras being produced that are SLRs where you look directly through the lens. So with these cameras, composition is king, and that's just really cool to me. We've got a couple different accessories down here. This right here is an adapter that goes on the front of the SX70. I was actually sent this by Brooklyn Film Camera, and Brooklyn Film Camera, with the help of Retrograde Engineer, made a set of lenses that can give you a couple different looks for your SX70. This one here is a wide angle, so it just screws right in, and then boom, you have a wide angle lens on your SX70. This one here is my favorite. This is actually a fisheye, so it's a little wider than that wide angle. You actually get like a circular vignette, but this is cool because the SX70 just has one focal length, 116 millimeters. This then takes your Polaroid camera and makes it into a Polaroid camera that can shoot fisheye photos, and that's just really neat. Last thing I will mention, this is a shutter release cable for the SX70. I have another one over there that's like 16 feet long, but this is a short one, and you plug it into the side and fires the shutter. This camera, because it has the Bluetooth motherboard, you can actually fire the shutter from an app or from a remote dongle like this guy here. But if you want to go analog and press a button, this is the remote control. Really, really cool. All right. Those are my film photography pickups as of July 2025. If you want to see more videos in this style, let me know. But as always, please leave a comment down below letting me know if you liked the video and if you have any recommendations on videos you'd like to see from me in the future. Check out the links in my description to find some of the stuff I talked about today and how you can support the channel going forward. As always, I'm Linus, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.